Hi, folks. Puffin here. Yeah, you see the hat. For fans of my channel, you know that means this is the new Cara Dune coming at you. Also, if you notice, I've got a little scrap of notes, and don't be scared. It's just a Ted Cruz quote, so you can totally ignore it like everything he says. But it is funny. This is why it made the news, top news, on the day that, they acquitted more cops and, whatever else other real news there is. They still haven't reported much about the Senate hearing into the invasion of the Capitol, but whatever other real news there is, the top news on my page, on my Google page, is Daisy Ridley responding, Rey from Star Wars responding to Ted Cruz, because Ted Cruz had a quote supporting old Cara Dune. So I'm going to start with reading you the quote. That's why I wrote it down, so I can make sure I get it right. So here we go. This is Ted Cruz. Texan Gina Carano broke barriers in the Star Wars universe. Not a princess, not a victim, not some emotionally tortured Jedi. She played a woman who kicked ass and girls looked up to her. She was instrumental in making Star Wars fun again. Of course, Disney canceled her. So that's Ted Cruz. Now let me go ahead and read you Daisy Ridley's response because it's pretty good. Because I guess they asked her about this interview. He maybe said that a month ago, and they asked Daisy Ridley about it in an interview yesterday or the day before. And she said something like, "I'm very happy to be an emotionally tortured Jedi who doesn't leave their state when it is having a terrible time." And which is awesome because she's making fun of Ted Cruz for leaving when the snow and the power failures, because they politically their whole legislature chose this independent power grid that failed and killed at least 2 dozen people, and just has all sorts of repercussions. Almost completely failed power. Like there's still people without power there a week later, and it could have been months if they'd had a complete total blackout, which they were apparently seconds or minutes away from. And Ted Cruz just up and left and had to be shamed into coming back and pretended he came back. And some troll even told me, well, he's a pilot. He didn't have to buy a ticket to come back. No, he's not a pilot. He flew and he had to buy a ticket to come back. So anyway, let's break down. First of all, Daisy Ridley's response is awesome because she's saying, hey, I've got a character. And yeah, I'm glad to be who I am, and I'm glad to still have that job, unlike your friend who went Nazi and got fired. Also, she's saying, dude, you left your state. And it's like, you want to bring politics into Star Wars? Well, Star Wars will come back with politics. And I'm going to love it because Star Wars is a huge community. And once we get this community right, the Star Wars community, like meaning on the left, which is where everybody should be. Once we get a good community leading the way, like the Deadheads have been doing it for decades, with some exceptions, there are awful Deadheads out there too. But some people in Star Wars don't get it. We can make sure that almost everybody does get it. And these are the things that do it, pointing out what's wrong. So that's what I'm going to do with Ted Cruz right now. Texan Gina Carano broke barriers in the Star Wars universe. First of all, there aren't any barriers in the Star Wars universe. It's something people wrote. It's not like they had a rule that characters could only be a certain way and she broke those barriers. No, they wrote a different character for it. And let me also point out that while old Cara Dune may have brought something to the role, everything he's talking about was written for the role. It wasn't because of her acting, it was whoever wrote the role. So he's a total idiot, so let's be clear on that. But I'm still going to analyze everything he said. Not a princess, not a victim. Now let's break this down. These people are crying victim, whining about what they're a victim of. When they get kicked off Twitter or whatever, they're whining about what they're a victim of all the time. They are the ones to play the Trump victim card. But they're going to criticize anybody else who plays the victim, or they're going to criticize anybody who is an actual victim. They're going to criticize all these people that the cops murder, bring up some arrest record or what drugs they might have been on or whatever. Or if they're a 9-year-old girl, they can't bring that stuff up. Maybe they said, well, she said something mean to somebody, or she wrote this in her diary. But like, these Trump trolls are going to criticize actual victims, shame and abuse actual victims, and then at the same time say you're playing a victim card. But when it's time for them to play a victim card, dude, they are the Trumpinist with the victim card. They're like, they own the victim cards, and they're the ones creating the victims, and they're the ones playing the victim. Because other people aren't playing a victim, they just are victims of these people. Not a victim, not some emotionally tortured Jedi. Now I just want to point out, Daisy Ridley as Rey, she does a great job. She's a fantastic actor. Wait, like nobody's going to dispute that Daisy Ridley is 100 million times better actor than old Cara Dune. She's a good actor. I mean, anyway, I'm not going to go into the details of comparing people's talents, but as an emotionally tortured Jedi, another thing that's cool about Rey is she's one of the only characters in like modern culture, at least like Disney run kids movie culture, whose the main characters are going to be young, but she's one of the only one whose parents aren't dead or whose parents haven't died. Luke's parents are dead, Bambi's mom dies. Like all these characters that they start off with, they feel like it's some type of unwritten rule that a Disney character within 5 minutes at the beginning of the movie, somebody important in their life, usually their parent, has to die in order to give the character emotional depth. Rey, we don't know who her parents are, so they might not be dead. That's a huge difference. That's breaking a barrier. A main character whose parents aren't dead or doesn't have dead relatives to supposedly give them some type of depth slash mildly traumatize every kid who watches any movie anytime ever. Like, can we just have movies without some dead people in them for once? Just for kids, for fun, just for once. But anyway, so Daisy Ridley's the one who broke a barrier there. Emotionally tortured. I mean, she owns up to it and says that's a good thing, which it is for a character. It is good to be emotionally tortured, but she's not even really that tortured. I mean, come on. It's not like that's really what it's about. It's just Cruz trying to put down emotions in general, basically trying to act like I'm a thinking man, which he's not. He's a complete idiot and a Nazi. Let's remind ourselves he's a Nazi. So why are we spending so much time on his words? To make fun of them and to make fun of people who might follow them and believe them. Okay, so he said she played a woman who kicked ass and girls looked up to. Again, let me take it back a second. When he said not a princess, you know who he's talking about there? Carrie Fisher. Like the ghost, Carrie Fisher was a badass, not just as Princess Leia, but in life, Carrie Fisher was a badass. Watch some Carrie Fisher interviews. Like she'll just tell people how it is. And her ghost is going to be telling Ted Cruz and these Republicans how it is, after this comment, because she's got a remark too. You can't interview her for mainstream media, but spirits do respond. And you're talking trash about Carrie Fisher and Princess Leia in order to try to elevate old Cara Dune? No. New Cara Dune, me. That's somebody you might be able to elevate. Old Cara Dune, no. You're not digging her out of hell. She played a woman who kicked ass and girls looked up to. You want to see how many Rey outfits are being sold? You want to see, like at Halloween, you want to see how many people cosplay Rey versus how many people cosplay Cara Dune, or what the cosplayers of Cara Dune are doing now that she's come out as a Nazi? I don't know what they're doing, but they've made the news for what they're doing. But mostly all I'm saying is Rey and Princess Leia, always going to be so much more popular, powerful, important characters than your little cop from Texas, who, will be played better by me or, some other actor. Well, acting real quick. You really think that'll work? I got a bad feeling about this. Okay. She was instrumental in making Star Wars fun again. I mean, who is he to say? This guy doesn't know what fun is. He went to Cancun instead of helping his state. Whatever. Star Wars has been a ride for the people who are... I've been a fan since the very beginning. I mean, Empire Strikes Back is the first movie I remember seeing in theaters when I was a kid. First movie. Like, between that and Indiana Jones. I think Empire Strikes Back was the first movie I actually remember seeing or even went to as a kid. So, like... I'm about as original a Star Wars fan as there can be, and I'm not going to criticize the things that I have criticized in the past right now. There's no time. We have to get all criticism on all these Nazis until they're all gone. So, of course Disney canceled it. No, of course you need to be canceled by the citizens of Texas / some type of punitive body that can arrest you people for siding with traitor Trump and his genocide over the people of America. But this stuff, you piss off the Star Wars community and we'll get you. Like, we have Jedi powers too. Like, it's not just Carrie Fisher who's coming back and it's not just a hologram. Like, this stuff's going to happen, bro. And, you're messing with the wrong crowd is really what it comes down to. And when I say the wrong crowd, I kind of mean the people, like all the people. It's not like all the people are Star Wars fans, but there's enough Star Wars fans mixed in. Like, you've pushed enough people in enough different directions that when it all comes back in on you, you don't have a chance. Like, it's over. And I can't wait for that. I'm so glad that people, like, I saw a comment that, like, while these leftists run the media, we run the comment section of the internet. It's like, yeah, you have been running the comment section because you have these Russian trolls. But the bolder and more strongly people start speaking out against you people, and the more we get some type of authorities, whether it's citizens arrests and stuff, to arrest your crooked cops and your crooked politicians, just arrest you in the streets and at the grocery store. Once that kind of stuff starts happening, dude, you're all going to wish you never said this stuff. So that's a good warning to most of you. Don't say it in the first place. And thanks again to Daisy Ridley and to everybody in the Star Wars universe who's standing up. Can't believe he's trying to say she broke barriers in the Star Wars universe. Do you have barriers here? The Star Wars universe is an imaginative creation that the only barriers are in people's minds coming up with the stuff. And the whole idea is what's really exciting is when the stories occur that don't have so many barriers, because someone come up with some great new idea that breaks barriers, because that's what really breaks barriers is ideas. Y'all are afraid of them, which is why you don't have any good ones. All you do is push your bad ideas on people. But we can stop you. We can deplatform you. We can just shame you. We can let you say what you have to say and then spend 11 minutes and 22 seconds making fun of it. So, be careful what comes out your mouth, because way smarter people than you are ready to respond. And eventually people will hear those responses and finish shutting you down and shutting your ideas out of humanity. And that's what happens. Don't mess with what a long time ago, galaxy far, far away, because it comes back now and in the near future. Here. Thanks for watching. Y'all stay tuned. And please make me the new Cara Dune. That would be awesome.